All right. Good evening, Next Gen International. I am Architect Nina Fianza, and I'll be your host for tonight. Thank you for joining us in our Next Gen Exceed Skills Master Series. Tonight, we are privileged to have on the Next Gen virtual stage one of the country's leading financial experts and a highly sought after financial consultant to share with us profound insights to his personal formula for success, passion, profit, and purpose. But before we move on to the meat of the program, let us seek for the Lord's guidance. Let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord God, thank you for this evening of great opportunity, the chance to learn and hear from amazing mentors. May you bless each participant here tonight, that this training may add value to their lives, Lord God. May you guide our speaker throughout his talk. Bless us with a good internet connection so we may continue to share and hear his insight tonight. Thank you for our lives. Thank you for our strength, Lord God. All these we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so I'm sure that everybody is excited to start, but before anything else, let me just reiterate and share with you some reminders to ensure that we will all have a productive time tonight. Okay, so please feel free to communicate and engage with our speaker and other attendees through the comment section on Facebook Live and through the chat box on Zoom. We appreciate your comments and feedback, but of course, keep them appropriate and professional at all times. Be ready with your pen and notebooks so you can capture important learnings throughout this training. Also, to add to your excitement, guys, now please prepare your questions. You can send them through the Zoom chat box or comment section on Facebook Live because our speaker for tonight will answer them after his talk. Okay, so all right, now that we are all set, without further ado, allow me to properly introduce our very special speaker for tonight. Our speaker is one of the country's leading financial experts and a highly sought after financial consultant, a stock market trader, an entrepreneur, a best-selling book author. He is an international keynote speaker as well, a brand influencer, and a seasoned personal financial consultant. He is also the president of StockSmart Incorporated, an analyst and investor with more than 13 years of experience in the Philippine financial industry. He has been interviewed by numerous TV programs with regard to his skills in investing, particularly in the stock market, from business channels like Bloomberg TV Philippines, CNN Philippines, ANC, to mainstream local channels like ABS-CBN, TV5, and GMA7, to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Marvin Germo.
Hello. Hi, thanks for having me. Oh, do I talk straight already? So yeah, before I load my slides and before I begin, I'd like to honor the entire group that made this event possible. Everyone who thought about coming out of this event because there's one thing that I've seen, no, from companies that have built the foundation on information and education, that it shows how much the ones that organize this event cares about all of you who's watching. Because at the end of the day, the higher you grow in life will be by what you feed inside it, by what you learn inside. And at the end of the day, information will help you make the right decisions, not the best, not perfect decisions, that you won't make mistakes in life, but at the end of it all, I really believe that the more you learn, the more you would actually earn also in the future. So I hope that over the next few minutes that I would be speaking, that this is something that would add value to you, and not just value, but it's something that would be actually actionable, something that you could use. So allow me to load my slides while we're there. But do feel free to put your questions on the comment section, and then I hope our guests would be able, our hosts here also would be able to read the questions later. And I'm here to answer whatever I can to be able to help you. So the topic that was given to me to talk about was about passion, profit, purpose, and sharing also my journey. And thank you so much for that very warm introduction a while ago. And as what was said perfectly, I'm pretty much in the finance um, field. But throughout my years, no, even my entire background in doing all of this, I wasn't really a financial practitioner. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Communications Engineering, took the board exam, but uh, I never practiced it. I never went into it. And what's so interesting when I was also starting out was a lot of uh, everyone around me said that bakit gano'n? Sayang naman. Engineering ka, you took the board exam, you passed it, you were very, very good in college. Why are you not practicing what you're doing? And true enough, no, when I went into my it was I very engineering as well. I don't know who this is for. This is part slides that I wanted to share, but I just wanted to speak this to all of you that your background, kung ano man yung napagdaanan nyo, kung ano man yung qualifications nyo, kung ano man yung sinabi ng ibang tao na hindi nyo pwede gawin, uh, it doesn't really matter eh. Because who you are, where you will go, also is not defined by what your course is in college. It's not defined by what skills you have right now. Kasi madami naman bagay na natututunan eh. Madaming bagay that you will learn along the way. And uh, if you listen to what your past is telling you, you will be able to move forward and go to whatever God-given destinies you have as well. And yun, I graduated college 2005, and I've been an investor. I've been in the stock market for over a decade now, and it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life as well. And throughout this talk, I want to share bits and pieces of that journey and why I'm so passionate about investing, why I so passionate also about sharing what I know. And I know we are from different fields. I know not I'm not an expert in the category in the business that you are in, but I've gone across and met a lot of people who are in it, people that have been very, very successful. And what I've noticed are there are some key principles that are so the same in whatever industry that you are on. And I do hope that while you are here, this be a springboard also that in the midst of this pandemic, this will be still one of your greatest years yet. Allow me to go back and show you this picture. This is my picture in high school. Ako to. And then I graduated college here 2005 electronics and communications, and the reason why I went through that entire backdrop was hindi ko talaga pangharap mag-invest eh. I didn't have any idea that I would be investing in Philippine stocks, US stocks, and even for the past 3 years in the cryptocurrency market. That was never in my plan eh. My plan before was gusto ko maging magaling na employee, maging manager ako, tapos pag malaki sweldo ko, somehow, some way, have enough money na makapag-franchise ako ng KFC sa isang SM mall. Pag naka-franchise ako ng KFC sa isang SM mall, sabi ko, okay na ako doon. And then, that would be somehow a good revenue model for me. Na-realize ko rin pala later along the line, wala palang franchise yung KFC dito sa Pilipinas. But that being said, that all changed with this storyline. This picture, this is me and my father when I got married more than 9 years ago. But the reason why I bring this to your attention was I never had any stories na nanggaling sa hirap, yumaman. I was just a normal middle class person. We had enough that we got sent to school, well, provided naman lahat ng needs, sometimes pati wants. We had enough also that occasionally kapag bakasyon to different parts of the country or even outside the country, we were stuck in the middle. And my father was an engineer, and that's one of the reasons why I took up engineering. He was a mechanical engineer. He also climbed up the ladder from an entry level employee. He became an executive or top management for a pharma company. And napansin ko through the years, like every other Filipino, habang tumataas yung sweldo niya, yung gastos niya lumalaki. And I'm sure sa inyo din, sa mga nanonood, no, we've all experienced that na dati yung one-piece chicken, nagiging two-piece chicken, yung dating sa Starbucks na tall, nagiging grande, nagiging venti. We sort of upsize our lifestyle based on also what we've earned. And we've experienced that as a family for years. So every time my dad started to earn, since credit card yung ginagamit niya, swipe lang siya ng swipe kasi alam niya kaya niyang bayaran yun every month. However, something happened in 2003 that yung company niya, it was merged with another larger company and they formed one of the largest pharma companies in the world. But because of that, may parehong position dun sa parehong company na yon. Since mas malaki yung isang company that merged with them, he was offered an early retirement. So since he was there for a long period of time and he had a high salary and he had a high position, he was given a very, very large lump sum. Now, that being said, majority of Filipinos, ito laging notion na comment below if you've heard this or madami kayong kilala ganito, makaipon lang ako na ganitong pera, makakuha lang ako ng ganito kalaki pera, mag-start ako ng negosyo. And that's what happened to him. So like every other Filipino, he had a large lump sum. However, please do remember this, in the world of finance, money, getting a large amount of money, sitting on itself does not get you anything. It does not generate anything for you. It does not give you anything. It does not give you a return. And true enough, no, even if you analyze it from the lens of inflation, every year, yung value pa nun nagdi-diminish. So, since madaming cash, pero walang pumapasok, the logical thing for him to do was to start a business. And when he started a business, to make the long story short, we had a series of small businesses, from a gas station na sarili naming brand, then to a sanitary napkin. Totoo to, nung college ako, nagbebenta ako ng sanitary napkin sa mga classmates ko. I was very entrepreneurial already at that time. No? Halapitan ko sila, yung mga kaklase kong babae. Ano panahon naman? Tapos aalokan ko sila ng sanitary napkin. But to make the long story short, if you notice it, no, gasoline station, sanitary napkin, those were all needs eh. Those were all things that people would actually buy eh. And people have this notion that, hindi, may maganda na akong idea eh. Meron na ako, mag-start na ako ng business, I will start to quit my job eh. But that was the biggest mistake that my dad ever made. That he had a lot of money, he had no experience, and he was banking everything on that particular idea to make money for him. To make the long story short, he lost everything. To make the long story short, lahat ng trinabaho niya from his 20s to 53 years old, nawala. And I was there in college, sitting and looking at, why did this happen? How could this happen? And that was a turning point in my life that made me decide to do everything that I'm doing right now. That kung napanood niyo yung Avengers, yun yung parang time na nag-snap si Thanos sa buhay ko, that everything already shifted just because of that. In my teenage years, I was turning 20, I think at that time, I made a decision that whatever happened to my father should not happen to me. That I said that it stops here. That when I hit my 50s, hindi ako magiging pabigat sa anak ko, hindi ako magiging pabigat sa magulang ko. It's time that to whoever's watching this, and I know that you are part of this group because you also want to change your financial destiny. You also want to change how money is coming your way. And I made that conscious decision at that time that I wanted to stop the sandwich generation. That pagtanda ko, ayoko maging pabigat. And I really wanted instead that I wanted to have more than enough, that I would be even a blessing to the generation in front of me. And I wanted to be a blessing to the generation that went before me. And that's where I went into this spiral of entrepreneurship, as in whatever business that I could actually try when I was starting out, I would do it as much as I can. Hindi ko habol kumita, syempre, we all want to earn when we start businesses. Wala naman taong magsasabi na, magsisimula ako nito, kahit malugi ako, okay lang. Wala naman syempre may gusto nun, pero my goal wasn't to earn as much eh. My goal was to learn, to see that ito ba yung business na gusto ko? Ito ba yung business na pwede ako maging magaling? Ito ba yung business na that I can do sustainably over the next 10, 20, 30 plus years? Because if it was something that I knew I was good at, I knew that I liked, it was something that was sustainable, okay na. So that's why I tried so many things, as in nagbebenta ako ng soft drinks. I tried yung mga shakes na powder. I was selling it to my office mates. I would go sa mga fairs na nagsustalls kami, all with the context of I just wanted to see what works for me. And because I didn't want na yung nangyari sa tatay ko na nagnegosyo siya na wala lahat, sabi ko, if I will make a business, if I will do something, kung mawala man yun, at least 20 pa lang ako. Wala pang umaasa sa akin masyado. Hindi pa ganun kalaki yung overhead hindi pa ganun kalaki yung overhead ko, hindi pa ganun kalaki yung mawawala kasi maliit lang yung negosyo na ginagawa ko. And I salute you for what you're doing. I'll tell you this, that from where you are right now to where you want to be 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years down the line, you will get a lot of rejections, you will get a lot of mistakes, you will get into things na sobrang hirap, sobrang nakakapagod. And it's where you are right now that will be the definition of what course you will take. And I wanted to try that while I was starting out. So yun. And as I started to earn, sabi ko sa sarili ko, ayoko nangyari sa kanya. I barely spent. I was working in my job as an IT professional. I was doing some side hustles. Ngayon, uso na ngayon, side hustle na tawag . I was doing some side hustles at that time. And when it was earning, I wasn't spending it. I was saving it and I was investing it. Then as I started to invest, I tried different investments. And ultimately, I pretty much fell in love with the stock market. And as I fell in love with the stock market, 2008, it was a bit of timing also. That's when the global crisis happened. And I was able also to buy a lot of, if you notice it, the difference of the recession right now compared to the recession of 2008 was this. 2008, the recession was in the US. 2020, 2021, it's all over the world. Everyone is affected. So nung 2008, it didn't make sense to me. Bakit ganun? Bagsak yung stock market sa Pilipinas pero wala naman dito yung recession. Unlike now, you'll notice it. People were still going to the malls. People were eating in Jollibee. People were still traveling. Right now, everything's restricted. So when I saw it at that time, bakit bagsak ng 50+% yung stock sa market? Wala naman dito yung problem. And that became an opportunity for me. And fast forward to where we are right now, that decision of starting early, doing business, spending less, saving as much as I can, and investing was one of the biggest things that I think was a springboard to allow me to do what I'm doing also even right now. And true enough, given the topic that was given to me, purpose, passion, and profit, I wanted to share at least 17 principles on how you can thrive in this new normal. I know I just have 1 hour, but I hope I make this fit in the next few minutes that I actually have. And since minsan lang naman tayo nagkakausap dito, I just want to give you as much as possible so that kahit hindi man tayo magkita ulit or this webinar doesn't happen again, I do hope that whatever I share also will get you to the right track to where you want to be. And I'm really not here to impress you or to give you nice words that doesn't mean anything. I just really want to be the person that gives you as much value as possible so that it helps you in your life. And since the topic that I was given was pretty much crowned up dun sa lesson about success, I want to share this as my first point. Number one, please remember this. Success is a starting point. A lot of people spend their entire lives trying to be successful. I want you to reframe the conversation that success is not something you try to do, but it's something that you always start already from a position that you are successful. You already start from a position that you have nothing else to prove to the world. The reason why I say that is this. I believe that I know more now, 2021, in business and investing compared to 2005, nung kakagraduate ko lang sa college. But here's the thing. 2005, 2006, when I had barely any pesos in my pocket and my bank account, I never considered myself a failure. I always considered myself a success at that time. 2021 versus 2006, there's more people who know me now versus when I was also starting out. But I don't consider myself more successful in 2021 as what as compared to where I was also in 2005 and 2006. The moment you realize that success is not something you try to target, because the thing about success is when you try to target, you want to hit something, the moment you hit it, you will try to go for the next thing eh. It's just like buying yung una yung kotse. Napansin nyo ba? Sa mga nakabili ng first car ninyo, matagal nyo nang pinapangarap yung kotse na yun, whatever it may be. No? For example, nag-target kayo, gusto ko magkaroon ng Vios. Pag first car ko, bibili ako ng Vios. You've been dreaming about it, thinking about it, watching about it, saving about it. Pero the moment na nabili mo siya, excited ka. Pero after 2 weeks, after 1 month, after 3 months, parang the excitement is not as there anymore. And then your sights are on, I want to have a Fortuner. Nothing wrong with having a Fortuner. But what I'm saying is this. The benchmark, the target should not be success. You should not be targeting just looking out for being successful. But you have to realize that kung nasan ka man ngayon, you are already a successful person. Because you, please remember this, you cannot be someone in the outside if you are not it. You are not that person in the inside. I'll repeat that. You cannot be someone in the outside if you don't believe that in the inside. You will never become a success if you don't even believe in the midst of the circumstance right now that you are successful. I hope that this is helping you, because this was something that was very, very beneficial to me, especially when I was starting out, that your success is not defined by what you can ever do. Your success is not defined by what your bank account is, by what you can produce, but it's already something that you are starting with. And if you think and you live that way, it will revolutionize your life because you are not anymore living for the applause of other people. You're not anymore living off target after target after target after target. Why? Because if you know you're successful, you believe you're successful, you work as a successful person, right thinking produces right doing. And as you think right, you do right. And as you think properly, it will allow you also to think and make decisions in towards that particular path. So that's number one. Number two is this, and this brings out the finance person in me. And I'll say this to all of you, that this is if there's one thing that's so relevant right now, and this might be the most boring point in all of this. But if there's one thing I want to encourage you on, is to do this. Save as much as you can. And in your field, in your business, you're considered self-employed eh. What does that mean? Yung kita nyo ng September 2021, hindi yun yung kita nyo ng March 2022. Sure ako doon. Yung kita nyo ng September 2021, hindi yun yung kita nyo ng November 2022 next year eh. You need to save as much as you can right now. And especially if you believe that you are supposed to be in this business, save as much as you can. Especially if you're employed right now and you think and you don't see yourself as an employee forever, but you see yourself to be in this business. Every time you start to earn, wag niyo muna bilhin yung luho niyo. Nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. Don't get me wrong na baka sinasabi ko wag niyo na bilhin yung mga pangarap niyo. Nothing wrong with that. But if you believe that you are in the season of your life that you are planting, you are in the season of your life that you're accumulating, you're in the season of your life of building your empire, huwag niyo muna gastusin lahat. Save money for your business, that meron kayong 12 months worth of money to operate your business kung nag-resign kayo sa trabaho nyo, at meron kayong 12 months also of savings to operate your personal life as well. Why? People don't talk about savings eh. A lot of people always talk about anong magandang investment, Bitcoin ba yan, cryptocurrency ba yan, Ethereum ba yan, what's the best return for my money, or what's the best stock to buy, or what's the best business to actually start eh. But please remember this, it's the boring things in life, the rudimentary things that will make you rich. Savings won't make you rich. That's very, very true. But you know what savings will do? If you have a stockpile of savings, it will allow you na kahit walang pumasok sa inyo na income for a certain period of time, hindi kayo kakabahan. Hindi kayo maninervyos. Kasi I'm sharing this from experience, because when I eventually quit my job 2010, 2011, and I was still thinking that I was still thinking as an employee, even if I wasn't an employee anymore. Meaning, when it was a good month, January, February, I would actually think na, ay, okay to. So, I would think that, I would think na kung anong ganitong kaganda yung January, February ko, baka ganun din yung May ko tsaka June ko. Which is not the case eh. That if you want to be serious in this road of being self-employed, being an entrepreneur, stockpile. Save as much as you can. Because it will make, alam niyo kung ano magagawa nun? Magiging matapang kayo eh. Kahit nag-lockdown noong March 2020, pero madami kayong cash, hindi kayo maghahabol eh. Hindi kayo maninervyos eh. And I'll say this, iba yung diskarte ng entrepreneur na may ipon versus yung walang ipon. Why? Because yung walang ipon would actually think that I need to get this sale, I need to get this deal done. Because if I don't get this deal done, may babayaran ako na amortization. The best deals that you could ever get are the deals that you could walk away from. And that can happen when you have cash, when you have savings. Kasi people you talk to will also know that, o nga no, mukhang di naman, kahit hindi niya makuha tong deal sa akin, hindi niya makuha tong sale sa akin, okay siya eh. And how do you do that? When you stockpile savings. Please remember, this would be one of the most boring things to talk about. A lot of people don't want to talk about savings. But you look at every Taipan out there, they always talk about the malls that they've built, the property development that's there, the hotels that have been built. But if you know the cash that they also store, it's massive. Please remember this. Kung lahat ng pera nyo cash, yun yung problema. Pero kung may cash kayo, tas bukod doon, may ways kayo to make money, then cash becomes a position. Cash becomes a buffer. Cash becomes something that kung may nagkasakit, never kayong uutang ulit. And that alone, for a lot of Filipinos, is already very liberating. Please, if you want to quit your job and go full-time into this, stockpile massive amounts of savings. If you're full-time already in this, stockpile massive amounts of savings. And I keep saying massive, 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 massive. Pero please remember this. It doesn't have to be massive at the start eh. Start with whatever you have. Sabi nga ng Milo sa mga ka-age ko, great things start from small beginnings. You don't have to be great to start. But for it to be great, for your savings to be great, you just have to start. Make a conscious decision right now. Whatever you earn from your business, decide 10%, 20%, or put a number to it, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, 50,000, 500 pesos. It doesn't matter. What matters is a conscious decision that every time money comes in, you take it out and you don't touch it and you forget about it. And that has been one of my strongest weapons ever. There have been savings. I share this to you just to encourage you that there has been savings na inipon ko noong 2006 hanggang ngayon hindi gumagalaw. Never ko siya na touch. You treat your savings as if wala na siya doon. Huwag yung pag may savings kayo biglang nag-99 yung Shopee tatanggalin nyo. Don't do that. Use your savings literally for what it is, to save you. Number 2. I hope you're getting this and I hope that this is helping you. I don't see the comments, no? So I just hope that wherever you are in Facebook na nakatulong to sa inyo. Anyways, number 3. I'll just drink water. Number 3 is this. Follow your passion. And a lot of people may not agree with this, but this is me. This is one of the reasons why I quit my job 2010 was I just wanted to do the things that I love to do. And it may not work for a lot of people, but it worked for me. Why? Because when you're passionate about something, think about it this way. Kahit walang naniniwala sa inyo, but you're passionate about it, you will still push through Paglalaban nyo talaga siya Kahit sobrang hirap, pero yun yung alam nyo, you were born to do that, that becomes super, super powerful. I'll say this, and I had the chance to meet so many executives making millions on a monthly basis from their corporate jobs, but they hate their job, but they can't leave and they're stuck and they can't do anything about it anymore kasi malaki na yung malaki na yung umaasa sa kanila that they have to spend massive amounts of money to go into a vacation. I'll tell this to you. I love sharing my ideas to people. One of the things that I love to do, and the reason why I love doing it is, sabi ko, dapat yung nangyari sa tatay ko, hindi na mangyari sa ibang tao eh. And even if I had 100 billion pesos tomorrow, tapos inimbita ako ni Joanna Panao to do this again, I'd still come eh. Kasi I love doing it. Anytime you align what you do with what you're passionate about, you will become unstoppable. Anytime that your metric already is not about earning more but fulfilling what you love to do, the money will come eh. And I'll say this, nothing beats waking up every day loving what you do. For the past decade or so, I never had to dread Monday. Never. I never had to force myself na bad trip naman, Monday na naman, may pasok na naman. I never had to feel that way. I never had to feel the way, hala, bukas na naman yung stock market. That was never my narrative. I want you, and I don't know what ages you are in, no, but I assume that magkaka-generation tayo, 20, 30, 40 years old kayo lahat. I want you to be in the prime of your years, not wasting your life because you only have one life eh. Then make it count na. Do something that you're so passionate about, because I'll tell you this, if you're so passionate about something, you will be so good at it eh. And if you become so good at it, people will pay you for it. So align yourself with that. And I'll say this, successful people love the game more than the monetary benefit that the game gives them. That's why you see a lot of entrepreneurs who have made multi-millions, who have made billions na kahit hindi naman nila kailangan magtrabaho, kahit hindi pa nila kailangan mag-business, bakit pa sila nagbe-business? Think about this. Henry C. created the first mall that he ever had nung 1980s. Pero nung 1980s, mayaman na sila nun eh. Think about it. Yung anak niya, si Hans C. Tessie Coson, why do they work harder than everyone else? Even if they don't work anymore, mayaman na sila eh. You will realize this, that a lot of successful people, a lot of rich people, their metric really isn't money eh. We all think that a lot of people go into business because they want to get rich, where it's the opposite eh. They just love being an entrepreneur. They just love going into business. That's why they are rich. Sample, dun sa 20 na nasa Zoom, hindi ko alam kung sino yung nasa Facebook, no? But those in Zoom, kilala nyo sino to? Anyone in Facebook? Okay. This guy is Edgar Sia. I saw si Jude, sorry, he mentioned Double Dragon. So this is Injap Sia. People know him now as Double Dragon, Mary Mart, etc. But a decade ago, he was Mang Inasal. And Mang Inasal, more than a decade ago, was beating Jollibee. And because Mang Inasal was beating Jollibee, to make the long story short, bought Mang Inasal out, or offered Mang Inasal 3 billion pesos for 70% of the company. Think about this. Ed Garcia, at 32 years old, was offered 3 billion pesos at 70%. At 32 years old, he was a billionaire. Why am I saying this? When you get your 3 billion pesos, please remember this. He still owned 30% of Mang Inasal, which now Jollibee operated, which meant that whatever Jollibee would do to Mang Inasal, since he owned 30% of it, he would even get richer pa. I hope you're getting this. And think about it this way. Yung 3 billion pesos na yan, pag linagay mo sa time deposit, kahit 1% a year, it would still generate 30 million pesos for you for the rest of your life. 30 million pesos average Filipino person is already massively more than enough. And this is what I want to say. Entrepreneurs are not in it for mostly just the money. They're in it because it's the game. When he got the money, he could have just sat pretty and let Jollibee make Mang Inasal bigger and then use the 3 billion pesos and then, biruin mo to, may 3 billion ka, lagay mo sa time deposit, meron kang 30 million a year, kahit mag-around the world ka for 365 days, hindi mo maubos yun eh. But what did he do with the money? He took the money, turned it around, and katulad na sinabi ni Jude kanina, he started Double Dragon. And the rest is history. I'll say this also to balance everything out. People always say that passion is doing things that you love to do, which is true. But I'll also say this. Passion is also doing the things that you don't love so that you get to do the things that you love later. So when people say that I'm not passionate about this, I'm not gonna do this, think about it this way. If you're not faithful where you are right now, you won't be able to do the things that you're passionate about later on. So you have to get this. Passion is doing the things that you don't love right now so that you get to do the things that you love later. Kasi I place this slide intentionally to balance everything out. Kasi sometimes when people see this, nagre-resign sila the next day. So I don't want you to resign the next day. Kasi a lot of people are resigning because I don't feel passionate about my job right now. Guess what? If you quit your job, wala kang savings, paano pera mo? Saan manggagaling lahat yan? Be faithful where you are right now. Be diligent. And when you realize that it's your season to leave, then you go. But if it's not yet your season to leave, stay. Be faithful in that. Be good at that. Because you will never know that particular season in your life where you are now, it will be your fuel for you for your next season. And that's why I don't despise the years when I was an employee, because ang dami kong natutunan doon that when I was outside of corporate already, nagamit ko siya eh. There were so many things that I learned there that I was able to use to build me up. The problem is we see our boss as the problem. We see our employment, we see our job as our problem, na parang kulungan yung trabaho natin eh. Realize that where you are right now is a season for you to get bigger, better, stronger, to propel you for your next season in life. And I'll say this. When I started as an employee, 2006 pa lang, I already knew it eh. 2 weeks into me working as an employee, I read so much of Robert Kiyosaki's books that sabi ko, I won't be an employee forever. Pero when I knew that 2006 pa lang, hindi ako nag-resign sa trabaho ko eh. It took me 5 years to actually do it. Inspiration will get you started, but you cannot live off inspiration alone. You cannot live off passion alone. You have to find something, a framework that, okay, I'm passionate about this, but what are my steps to make this also sustainable? Please write this down. If your passion is not earning for you, it's only a hobby. Nothing wrong with the hobby, but what we're trying to look for here is something that you love to do, that you could build something around it, that it allows it to become a revenue model also for you as well. Naku, patay. 808 na. 0.3 pa lang tayo. Okay, number 4. I hope you're learning. You have to be all in on this. What do I mean all in? And I'm specifically speaking to what you're doing right now in your business. When you're all in, don't do things half-baked. As in, pag nandito kayo, go all out. Let everyone know. Don't be scared to fail. The problem is kasi as not as Filipinos, but as a culture, we've been taught in school na pag nagkamali ka, when you fail, you're done eh. Pangit yun eh. Pangit mag-fail sa test eh. Dapat di ka nag-fail eh. Look at every leader that you have right here. After this session, talk to them. The reason why they are leaders right now is they had more failures than you. And that's the reality of successful people. That's the reality of people who want to really make it out there in life. You will have more failures at times eh. But the failures that you have, will either be a lesson, or will either be something that will allow you to pivot, to make you better, or will allow you to say not, oh nga no, mali yata talaga yung ginawa ko dun eh. Hindi ko na nagagawin yung sa next eh. But I'll say this, when you're all into something, you put your whole mind, you put all of your effort, you put everything that you have in what you're doing. Even if you fail, that failure will eventually lead to the thing that will eventually be your thing, and which will eventually be your final thing also. Whatever you're doing, go all in. No backup. I'm not saying no backup, wala kayong ipon na umutang kayo para dito, but what I'm saying is, isipin nyo that, I'll give you this example. Isipin nyo na nalulunod kayo. Why? Pag nalulunod kayo, you will do everything desperately to get air, to be able to breathe. That should be your mentality when I say you go all in. That you will do what it takes properly naman and legally to be able to excel in this. Number 5, and I this is so important. Ignore the crowd. You need to be numb to both the noise and to the praise. And especially in your industry, you will get more no's than yeses. That's for sure. For every 1,000 people that you come across, there will be more no's and yeses. But you have to remember this, you don't need 1,000 no's to make you rich. Sometimes nga in business, you only need one idea, one yes to make you rich. But what I'm saying is this. When I was also starting out, sobrang daming tao nagsabi, taas ng pangarap ko, hindi mo magagawa yan, that won't happen. If you listen to what other people will say, you won't go to where you need to go. You won't be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Let your goals, let your dreams be bigger than whatever outside noise people could ever tell you. I repeat, let your dreams, let your goals be bigger than whatever noise, whatever sound that people around you would tell you. That what they say, don't allow it to add to who you are. What they say, don't allow it also to diminish who you are as well. And if you notice the slide that I'm showing right here, it says that you need to be numb to both the noise and the praise. It's so easy to listen to the praise. But remember this, the same people who will praise you may be the same people also who could possibly say bad things about you when you make a mistake. And it has to come to a point that as long as you know that you're doing what's right, as long as people around you, your inner circle, your family, your spouse, your friends, alam naman nila what's really going on, you don't have to ponder to what the noise of everyone else is telling you. Even the success. You know why? The biggest, it's painful to let go of hurtful things. But you know what's harder? To let go of your past triumphs. Napansin niyo ba yun? I'm sure all of us, or we have friends also like that, na parang they can't let go of their success 10 years ago. Na ang dami ng dumaan, ang dami ng nangyari, na hindi nila mapakawalan yung nangyari na maganda 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Please remember that the only power that the past has on you is what you allow it to. But that's not only for the bad things. If you remain and you listen to the praise on the present, it won't allow you to go for what's even bigger, better, and stronger for the years ahead. And please remember this, that I know that there are a lot of you in this group that have done a lot, achieved a lot, earned a lot. But guess what? Whatever you achieve right now, that's just a tip of the iceberg. Your greatest years are still in front of you. The best is still yet to come. You're not over. It's not yet done. So if you think that you've done a lot, I'm telling you, there's even more to come. And I'm saying this in the midst of the pandemic, that we are sitting in one of the best times to make money. We are sitting in one of the greatest times to be alive. And if you stop listening to the noise of what everyone else is saying na walang pag-asa, hindi pwedeng kumita, hindi masyado maganda dito, you will end up also living, analyzing, and thinking about what everyone else is saying. And I'll tell you this, if you listen to what everyone else is telling you will end up like everyone else. And everyone else is average. And everyone else that's average does not save a lot, does not invest a lot. Some of them are in debt. That's why you don't listen to the crowd. That's why it's so important to know where you're supposed to go. Because when you know where you're supposed to go, you go all in on that. Whatever your goals, whatever your dreams, whatever that may be, you go all in on that. And whatever is around you, you dumb it out. Gaya nyo yung sa kabayo, yung takip na ganun. Doon lang kayo nakafocus, eyes on the prize, eyes on the goal. But just to balance it out also, listen to people that love you, not to strangers. Kasi you will have people around you, your spouse, your mother-in-law. Lalo na yung mother-in-law, pakinggan yung mother-in-law nyo. Very, very important to listen to your mother-in-law, to your friends that really care about you, to family members that just want to speak the best into you. When they say something, you listen. But if it's the crowd, if it's other people, don't they? The thing about that is there will be people who, for some reason, I don't know, in this culture, parang have you ever noticed crab mentality? That when you start doing better, they want to pull you down, eh. And it's not because you did anything wrong. It's maybe because that their mindset is just stuck to where they were, and what you're doing is so different. That's why it's highly important that what they say, you don't listen to. Number 6, patay. 6 pa lang tayo. Number 6, work massively hard. And this is not a secret naman. Everyone knows this, that you want to be successful, you want to do well, just work hard. You hustle. You don't stop. Because hard work beats talent when talent does not want to work hard. That's why one of my biggest influences, and this even transcends sports, this transcends business for me, is Kobe Bryant. Why? Kobe Bryant would wake up early in the morning to practice 2 hours extra. Why did he have to practice 2 hours extra every morning, every single day? His main logic was this: if I practice 1 to 2 hours extra every day and do it for years, it would be so hard for my competition to keep up because I've already done the work. You want to be prosperous? You want to get rich? Work hard. You know what's so interesting about that is, wala kayong ipon, kung wala kayong masyadong investments, wala kayong connection, you have your time, eh. You have your effort, eh. Sometimes the biggest bridge to wherever you want to be is the amount of effort that you put into it. Sometimes the biggest bridge is going the extra mile, that, okay, I met 10 people last week. What if I do 13? Or what if I increase it by 50% more? And you will realize that there's so much power in just putting a lot of effort into it. But if you think that sobrang layo nyo sa kailangan yung puntahan, you audit what you're doing every night. If you have time for Netflix and ang layo nyo pa sa pangarap nyo, I'm not saying you don't watch Netflix, but I'm saying that watching a lot of Netflix won't bring you closer to where you want to be. And if you're so desperate to go there, you want to push hard for it, the best thing that you can do is work. I'll say this, that when I was starting out, I would work 16 hours a day. I'm not saying that you follow that, but I was working 8 hours on my job. Then after that, I would work 6, 7, 8 plus hours working on my dreams. For the first 8 hours of your life, and if you're watching this and you're employed, work on your job. Be faithful in your job. For the next 8 hours, work on your dreams. Because no one will work harder for your dreams more than you. No one will. If you're employed, please remember this. Yung employer nyo ngayon, will take care of your financial security. But financial freedom, that's on you. It's your responsibility to allow you to live life at your own terms. That's not the responsibility of your boss. That's not the responsibility of kung saan ka man nagtatrabaho ngayon. And if you get the best of both worlds, that you work hard on your job, then you work hard after that. I know it's not sustainable to do that for 16 hours for the rest of your life, but if you have the ability to do it while you're young, do it na. Kasi I'll tell you this, that there will come a point in whatever productive years of your life that you will work hard. May point dyan na magtatrabaho ka talaga na mabuti, na mas matagal. Either magtatrabaho ka na mas matagal kasi naghahabol ka kasi medyo matanda ka na, or ginagawa mo siya na mas maaga so that malaki na yung pundasyon mo pagtanda mo. I highly suggest that you do that when you're younger. Spend the best working years of your life building already so that when you're older, hindi mo na kailangan maghabol. Number 7, give the most value. What do I mean by that? Your clients, the people that you meet, don't care how much you work. They don't care how long it took for you to be able to do what you do. It doesn't really matter to them. It doesn't matter to them how much effort you put. What they see is the value that you give. You know what? When you give the most value, whatever price you put in, people will pay for you. Always remember that. There will be a niche market for people who give the most value. Because why? When you give the most value, people will remember you. People will always remember people who will give something that's extra, above and beyond what's been paid for. People will give something. People will always go back for the person that every time that alam niya na nagbayad ako dito pero I got more than what I paid for, babalik at babalikan din kayo eh. And the reason why I'm saying this is so that you don't become a commodity. Because when you're a commodity, you're just like everyone else. And if you're just like everyone else, you get priced like everyone else. And if you're just like everyone else also, you will earn like everyone else. So I don't know how you will implement that in your particular category in the line that you're currently doing. But if there's a way for you to stand out na hindi kayo makakalimutan ng tao, do it. If there's a way that even if it costs you more, but you know it gives people value, do it. That's why in business, it's part of your investment that when you eto sasabihin ko from a lumalabas yung pagka financial person ko, make a budget on it sa trabaho sa kita nyo na meron kayong specific amount doon that you will add as a cost to you so that you can add more value to the person. And you might say, paano yung wala pa ako masyado kita? Not a lot of things that you get na value is by the money that you could spend. Think about it, flip it. If you don't have a lot of money, do it with your time, do it with your effort. Find something that with the time that you have, with the effort that you have, that you could give more value. Because when you do that, I promise you, people won't forget you. Number 8, I mentioned about working hard, but how do you also give value? You build your skill. And how do you build your skill? Seminars like this are good, but it just doesn't just have to be about seminars like this. It has to be a never-ending, an unwavering, a relentless drive to just learn more and to get better. You know why Kobe is good? Because it's not just that he worked hard, but he spent tireless hours to be good at something. So whatever it is that you're good at, magaling kayo magsalita, magaling kayo mag-communicate, you know how to network with people, you know how to leverage the ideas of others, you're very good at selling, whatever it is, double down on that already. And I'm sure if you're in your 30s right now, you're in your late 20s, alam niyo na kasi kayo magaling eh. You leverage on that, you double down on that, and you be good at that. Prior to the pandemic, I get invited to do a lot of, to to speak no in conferences, etc. But here's what a lot of people don't know. I would literally spend money to attend at least 20 seminars, conferences, exhibitions, forums a year. And I've been doing that for the past 15 plus years. Ngayon, mas nagbago because we're not all going out, but everything is online. But the reason why I said that was this. It doesn't matter if it's free or you spend money on it, but take the time to be able to feed your greatest asset, and that's yourself. And I believe that will give you far more return than investing in cryptocurrencies, investing in stocks, investing in bonds, starting your own business, etc. Building your skill will give you exponential return. So whatever it is that you want to sharpen, do it. Spend a lot of time to make yourself better. Number 9, highly connected to giving more value, but over deliver more than what you're paid for. Halos connected to sa point number 7, but whatever people are paying you for, just over deliver. Just over deliver. Just over deliver. Overcompensate, and that will set you apart compared to everyone else. Number 10 is this. People say practice what you preach. I want to flip that, and this has been my byline. This is something that I've been doing for the past decade or so. Only only preach what you practice. Why am I saying this? Whatever you're doing right now, whatever product that you really love to offer to people, you have to be the biggest fan of that. You have to be all in on how it's used, how it has worked for you, how it has touched your family. Why am I saying this? When I started out, iba na yung stock market ngayon compared to 15 years ago. There's more people, there's more awareness right now on what the stock market is compared to what it was 15 years. Even cryptocurrencies, there's more people who know about it now than what it was over a decade ago. But that being said, I want to say this, that when you preach what you live, no one can take that away from you. People can say that the stock market to me is a scam. People can say that the stock market, walang kwenta yan, malulugi lahat ng pera yan. But they cannot take away my experience. They cannot take away what I've lived, what I've seen, that it actually worked for me. And your clients, the people that you meet, will actually see it in the way you walk and not just the way you talk. Because when they see how you live your life, they see how you walk, that it's in line with what you talk, that becomes so powerful that it will come to a point that you don't even have to sell to them, because they actually believe already what you say based on the weight of how you live your life. And I know saying that doesn't happen overnight. And this is not part of my slides, but I'll say this to you right now. Patience always wins. Patience is so underrated. But the fastest way for you to get rich is to do it slow. I'll repeat that. And I hope you get this, especially in your industry. It's so talked about na eto na yung paraan para yumaman na mabilis. Don't do that. The best way for you to get rich is to do it slow, is to love the process. Because when you love the process, you get better. Because when you love the process, you become unstoppable. Because when you love the process, and you live by it, there will be so much conviction in it. There will be so much weight when you speak it. And I do hope that whatever you're selling, whatever you're offering, whenever you meet people, what you say, what you offer, is something that you've experienced and you've lived. Because you don't need a script for that. You don't need to memorize anything for that. No one needs to teach you what to say or do, because it's something that's part of who you are already. So you can't be a phony version of what you want to present to other people. Especially when you go up, especially when you meet other people that are more tenured already, they'll easily spot if you're just faking it. And the best way for you to make it is not to fake it. The best way for you to make it is to be the best genuine version of yourself that you could ever be. Because that carries weight. Because that carries conviction. Because that carries something that a lot of people will be looking for right now. In a world where everyone wants to pretend to be someone in Instagram, there will be a larger amount of people who will be craving for what's real and what's authentic and what's relatable. Number 11, time is a bigger asset than money. I hope you get this. Uh, in the world where I am, people always talk about investing money, 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 money. But I'll tell you this, I value time more. Yung perang nawala, nababalik eh. And I'm sure you've experienced that. Pero yung oras na nawala, hindi nyo na mababalik yun eh. That's why whenever I hear people say that, especially this is pre-pandemic kasi lahat naman tayo nasa bahay ngayon, pero pre-pandemic people would say that, para makatipid kayo ng pera, magluto na lang kayo sa bahay, bili mo na lang to, hugas mo to lahat. But when you start to compute it, how much time is wasted when you do all of those things? You also need to value your time eh. Because sometimes, mas mahal kumain sa labas, mas mahal mag-food panda, mas mahal mag-grab. Pero it saves you time. And yung magagastos nyo pag nag-food panda kayo, guess what? That could have been 1 or 2 hours more that could have generated money for you. Pero babalansin ko din. If walang pumapasok na pera, wag na kayo mag-food panda. Wag na kayo gumastos, wag na kayo mag-convenience. Don't do that if nothing's coming in. But if you value your time, that yung time na yun, 1 or 2 hours more, that you have more energy, more time to do things, spend. Try to leverage other people's time so that you get more time. I repeat that. Try to spend, to leverage other people's time so that you get more time. Because that's one of the biggest reasons why the C's are the richest people in the Philippines. Because they knew how to leverage the time of other people around them. And you need to realize that also. I mentioned about hard work kanina, which is so true. But if you want to scale things up, it's about leveraging other people's time. And you can't do that if you're just working 16 hours a day. And you can't do that if you don't value your time. So, work hard. Earning money is important. Earning money is good. But value time more. Always, if you have a choice between money and time, pick time. You can never get time back eh. You can never get time back. And if you watch yung Avengers na movie, Tony Stark, kinausap niya yung tatay niya, sabi ng tatay niya, no amount of ever bring so true eh. And you will realize this, talk to any Taipan that you could ever come across. They will always say the same thing. Time is more important than money. Because di nyo na mababalikan yung oras eh. And you cannot multiply it, you cannot get more of it. So yun. Anyways, meron pa pala akong gusto sabihin kanina. Naalala ko lang to while I was saying that. Remember my point about passion? Okay lang ba? I wanted to share this. If I was given a choice to earn more, so I'll blow this up. 1 billion pesos doing something that I don't love versus 100 million pesos doing something that I love. I'm okay losing 90+% doing something that makes me feel alive every single day. Why? Because it boils back also to time eh. When you're doing something that you love, time doesn't pass. Time passes slow. When you're doing something that you don't love, ang bagal ng oras eh. Sobrang bagal ng oras. That's why Einstein said that time is relative. Because 10 minutes doing what you love feels like an eternity. 10 minutes doing something you don't, 10 minutes doing something you love, time flies so fast. 10 minutes doing something that you hate, feeling yon tagal nun. And the reason why I wanted to segue into that is that when you're passionate about doing what you love to do, you don't need to have a vacation anymore to escape. A lot of people take vacation so that they can escape their job that they have. But if you find something that you love so much, you don't need to escape it because you're loving every single waking day of your life. Number 12. And I think this is for, sorry, I need to drink. Number 12, and I think this is for the entire Filipino population. Don't wait for things to get better. Just make yourself better. Everyone is waiting for the pandemic to end when they don't realize that in this crisis, there's so much opportunity. I'll repeat, don't wait for things to get better. Make yourself better. Because when you make yourself better, no crisis, you will thrive. When you make yourself better, you will realize that bad times will be one of the biggest formative years for you to be able to create wealth. You will realize that in times that are bad, dun kayo gagaling eh. It's easy to make money when times are good. I'll tell this for people who are new and who are joining this for the first time and you haven't really been in your craft for quite some time. If you master this season, kung kailan tayo nasa pandemic, when this pandemic is over and then you are so good right now, when the economy gets back up, you will be even massively better. Because there's one thing that I've realized in analyzing the largest companies in the world and looking at them from a stock market point of view. The good companies, when times are bad, pivot, shift, innovate, and they just get better. That when the pandemic is over, they come out of the gates running and they become massively better as well. Because pag maganda, ang dali lang kumita, everyone can make money when times are good. The test when times are bad. And I'll say this, bumabalik na naman yung pagka-financial person ko. People always talk about the recession. People always talk about what's going on right now. But what people don't realize is recessions are cyclical. What do I mean by that? It's not a question whether a recession will happen. It's only a question of when. Pero what's not talked about is this. It's not a question whether a recession will happen, but what they don't talk about is what happens after a recession. After a recession is a recovery. And the reason why I'm saying that is this. Kailan maganda magtanim? Ngayon. Why? Because when things recover, you will be reaping the benefits of what you're sowing right now. And you have to realize this, that, okay, nagtanim ako, it may not be doing well right now, but please remember that hindi naman lahat ng tanim, inaani kagad eh. There will be times and seasons that you have to wait longer. Kaya nga, I started it off with working hard because when you work hard, you will realize that hindi bumunga to eh. Hindi to kumita, hindi to nangyari eh. Pero okay lang, tanim lang ako na magtatanim kasi in due season, whatever you worked hard for, that will also spring forth and work for you. Number 13, spend time with people who are aligned to your call. Spend time with people that add value to you and people you can add value to. Stop being with people that don't think alike as you. I'm not saying don't be friends with them, but I'll say this. Ang dami kong kaibigan na hindi ko na masyadong, I don't spend a lot of time with them anymore because every time I'm with them, it doesn't make me better eh. You will notice it eh. A lot of people, majority of people want to talk about other people. But the great ones, the great entrepreneurs, they don't talk about other people. They talk about ideas. They talk about opportunities. And if you're around people that's always talking about, hala, siya yung tatakbong kandidato, wala na mangyayari sa atin. Hala, ito na yung nangyayari dito. If that's the whole conversation, then you're in the wrong crowd. You have to be surrounded with people that think alike as you. And I'm sure that the people that you are in this group are people that think like you. Spend a lot of time with them. Invest in them. Talk to them. Especially the successful ones. Ano, madami ba kayong sa grupo na to, kilala niyo yung sino yung mga successful, sino yung mga kumita ng malaki? Learn from them. And the worst thing that you could ever do with people that are successful is magpapalibre kayo sa kanila. or hingi kayo pera sa kanila, or uutang kayo sa kanila. Yun yung nangyayari sa Pilipino eh. Pag may mayaman na kamag-anak, inuutangan, hinihingan ng pera. What they don't realize is this: pag may mayaman kayo na kamag-anak, the best thing that they could ever give you is not their money, but their time. Because when they give you your time and they teach you how they did it, then it becomes powerful. As Filipinos, we want the quick fix eh. We're not thinking the long game eh. We want the money because when we have the money, okay na eh. Hindi na natin kailangan pagtrabahuan eh. But if they give you a part of themselves and they give their time, that will be even massively more powerful than the money that they could give you. That's why when you see people that are successful in your group, sila ilibre nyo. Spend money to be with them so that you can learn from them. Don't hindi, kasama ako dyan kasi malakas kita niya pag kami magkasama siya manlilibre. Don't do that. Because you're shortchanging yourself eh. What they can give you is not the libre ng Starbucks na mabibigay nila sa inyo pag magkasama kayo, but the wisdom, the experience, and the learnings that they have eh. Because when you get that, when you get what they have, sobrang lakas nun. The next slide is something that I live personally. This is what I love. In your group of people that you surround yourself with, you have to be the poorest person in the room. Whenever I'm with my friends, that's why most of my friends are older than me. I'm 37 years old. Birthday ko sa 24. I'm turning 38 by 24. But when I was in my 20s, my friends were in their 30s. I'm in my 30s right now. My friends are in their late 40s, in their late 50s. Why? Because I want to be the poorest person in the room. Ayoko yung Pilipino, yung culture natin. Gusto natin tayong madaming kwento. Ay, nakapunta ako sa France, nakapunta ako sa Italy, or nabili ko tong bagong kotse na to. I don't like that eh. I don't want to be the richest person in the room, because if I'm the richest person in the room, I don't get anything anymore. Immerse yourself with people who are better than you. When you are with people who are better than you, guess what? Spend a lot of time with them. You will be like them. You will be super, super, super like them. Hindi nyo napapansin kahit di nila kayo turuan, but just because you're so immersed being with them, the way they act, the way they talk, the way they think, you will get it. That's why not a lot of things are taught. Some of the things are caught eh. And if you're the richest person in your circle of friends, it's time that you not leave your friends, but it's time that you find people where you can also learn from me. I hope you're getting this. 3 points na lang. I'm sorry I'm extending. I hope that it's okay, but malapit na tayo. Pasensya na. I don't want to destroy your program, but it's also part of me over giving. Anyways, number 14. Prosperity comes with a purpose. And I share this to a lot of people that one of the best things that you could ever do with your money is to give it away. One of the best things that you could ever do with your money is that you're not just earning for yourself. One of the biggest things that you could ever do with your money is you become intentional with it. So that may times na may nangangailangan, kayo yung may sobra eh. Na hindi na kayo nag-isip paano ako makakatulong sa tao na to, pero dahil may sobra kayo na naghahanap sino yung pwede kong tulungan, sino yung pwede kong bigyan. I would share this all the time that one of the things that tears my heart is pag nasa grocery ako and then yung nasa harapan ko, binabalik nila yung grocery nila kasi kulang na yung pera nila. It's so amazing that when you have more than enough that you can be the person that says, hindi, kunin nyo na lahat yan. And literally, I've done it so many times na may nakita akong security guard, binalik niya yung pagkain niya. As in, hinabol ko pa talaga siya kasi I wanted to give that. Yung binalik niya, ito na lang, say na to. But you get to do that when you have more than enough eh. That you get to give out of a position of abundance. That you get to give out. Kayo na yung maghahabol, hindi, kunin mo to, kayo nagbibigay. That in the midst of the lockdown so March 2020, hindi ka yung humihingi ng pera, ikaw naghahanap, sino pwede ko tulungan? Ano yung pwede kong gawin? And I think that's what makes earning more in your business go into full circle. That you have enough to meet your needs, you have enough to meet your wants, you have enough to take you towards financial freedom, but you also have something that you make your money last longer than you. You want to make your money last longer than you? invest it, it into the lives of other people, that's when it prolongs. That's when it becomes bigger, better, and stronger. Number 15, success. It's all by the grace of God. And I say this because I'm not that smart. I'm not that talented. That I realize that whatever I've accomplished right now, it's never about how good I am or what I've done, but it's really also a series of divine connections allowing me to be at the right place at the right time. And when you think that you're not qualified, that's when you realize that you need someone bigger, better inside of you to help you. Because it's easy to quit right now, eh. It's easy to quit in the midst of the pandemic. It's easy to stop. It's easy not to not to push further. But when you realize that at the end of it all, that it's not all about how good you are. It's not all about gaano kagaling, but it's all about also who are you reliant on. Because who you are relying on determines how strong you will also stand. Eh. That where your faith belongs to determines also gaano kayo katapang in the midst of all of the uncertainty. That even if you don't know, you may not have all of the answers right now, but you have to realize that where your future is also held. And in my opinion, God holds our future. And that's what allowed me that in the midst of me starting to just keep on trying, because I knew that even if I failed, God had my back. Number 16, finish your race. What do I mean by that? You're called to finish what you need to do, not the race that your parents called you out to do, not the race that your friends, your family's expectations for you are. It's your race. And why I say finish your race, you don't have to compare yourself with other people. Eh. The biggest thing to stop you from being successful is to compare yourself. O bakit mas successful yung kasama ko dito? Or in the flip side, bakit ako yung successful compared sa kanila? It doesn't matter eh. Focus on what you need to do. Because when you focus on what you need to do, hindi kayo magiging mayabang when you're earning more. Hindi rin kayo maiinggit when somebody's earning more eh. It doesn't matter when someone is earning more. It doesn't matter also if you're earning more, because your eyes should be in the prize and it should be in your own race. To end everything is this. Number 17, live for something that's bigger than you. And I think that will transcend and that will make you successful in this industry, in this business that you are in. If what you are fighting for is not just for your own self, but you have a why that's bigger than you. And I'll say this for myself. I started the intro with my dad lost everything. And that's why I wanted to save and invest for myself. And that's why I wanted also to share this to other people so that it doesn't happen to them. But this is derived from the Bible. What was meant to destroy you or harm you, God will turn it around for good. Whatever caused your family to get hurt, that will be also your message to be able to be a blessing to other people as well. And the best way for you to feel successful in the midst of these trying times is to realize that what you're doing is something that's bigger and better above and beyond what you're just actually seeing or feeling. And that happens when you live for something that's bigger than you. So with that, thank you so much for having me. I hope that you got a lot from this, and I hope that this is something that was very, very insightful, and I hope that this is something that helped you. So thank you so much for having me. I don't know, do I hand the mic over back to the host of this event? So thank you and God bless you.
All right. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, Sir Marvin. No, to our participants tonight, you can post your question in the chat box here on Zoom or in our comment section on Facebook Live. No, okay. So let's see. No, if we have questions on Zoom or on Facebook. No, we'll be entertaining at least 3 questions tonight, Sir Marvin. Is that all right?
Okay lang. No, even if there's more, I'm okay. I'm okay to answer. No problem.
Right. So ask away and we'll check those questions in a bit. But right now, siguro I'll ask my question, no, Sir Marvin, if that's okay. So in this world of course, finance, investments, in business, no, more people are investing in a lot of things. No, some they trust some concepts, some they do not, right? So what is your advice? I mean, because when you found your niche, no, in stocks and finance, no, how did it feel? I mean, what was your experience, no, when you found your niche in stocks and finance? Because some people are still looking for what's good, diba? What works for them. So what is your advice to siguro millennials or our generation na start? What is good, and how does it feel like to find your niche?
That's a good question. It goes back to what I said earlier. Sabi ko dun sa story, I tried a lot of businesses. So try everything, especially if you're young. When I say try everything, meaning there are a lot of things that you can do also right now that doesn't require a lot of money to start. So the more you get to try it, you get to already see what you're good at, what you're not supposed to actually do, or what later on. I'll share this. I wanted to try a lot of food ventures when I was younger, so that to see that, okay, kung mas madami akong pera, is this something that I want to scale when I have more money later on? So try it, keep on trying. If one door does not work out, then you try something else. I think you will never know, because if you asked me 15 years ago if I wanted to invest in stocks, I wouldn't invest in stocks. And if you remember my story, one of the first books I read 5+ books of Robert Kiyosaki in a 2-month period. Robert Kiyosaki didn't like the stock market. He's not into stocks, but doon ako napunta. So if you ask me if it's something that I would have won if I planned, hindi eh. I just took every opportunity and I just gauged it. Is this something that I love to do? Is this something that I could get better at? So, sige, I'll share this. One of the reasons why I like stocks is this. I like talking to people, pero I don't like managing people. Meaning, when you start businesses, yung pinakasakit sa ulo niyo hindi yung competitor niyo. Yung pinakasakit sa ulo niyo yung mga tao niyo. And I'm sure if you've handled people, totoo yun. I'm not like that eh. I like yung masaya lagi eh. So for example, tao ko si Nina Angela Fianza. Kunyari, tao ko siya. Kunyari, hindi ka nakakakota, sa akin, hindi, okay lang. Basta nag-enjoy ka, okay lang yan. Bawi na tayo next time. Pero if that's the way I am, malulugi negosyo. And I like stocks because I don't need to do customer service. I don't need to do sales. I don't need to meet people. I get to stay at home and I get to invest. But that's me. Not everyone's like me. So it's a combination of what I like, my personality, my experience, what I can also tolerate. But you will only find that out if you try it. So yun, that's my answer.
All right. So thank you for that, Sir Marvin. We have another question here. No, it says, what is your advice to those dreamers who are consistently failing at the moment and really are having a hard time? What is your advice for them?
Wow. Be patient. Be patient. Because it doesn't mean if you're a failure right now, it doesn't mean naman that will be your ending later on eh. I think sometimes we try to rush into things that if I don't get this amount of money over X amount of months or X amount of years, I consider myself a failure, or it's not. We don't all earn up in the same pace eh. And please remember this: people always quote Warren Buffett as the richest person in the planet. What people don't realize is this: Warren Buffett got his first billion 56 years old na siya. And he got the next 80+ billion years after that. So let's just be patient. And when I said earlier, patience always wins, because we all don't want to be patient eh. We all want to be rich in the next 8 minutes. It's so hard to be patient. However, na-realize ko most of my mistakes nangyayari when I wanted to do things fast eh. Most of my mistakes is when I wanted to create this shortcut because mas mapapabilis na mas kikita ako pag ginawa ko to. Only looking at it from hindsight, when if I have been more patient, if I did this, or if I did not rush into that, I would have had a better outcome. And please remember that failing does not mean you're a failure. Failing also does not mean that, does not, how do I say this? Pag nagkamali kayo, it doesn't mean it's the end eh. For every failure, there will always be a lesson there. For every failure, there will always be an opportunity on how you can pivot, on how you can check ano yung pwede kong gawin para next time na mangyari to, hindi na ako mag-fall sa ganyan mali. Parang love life. 'Di ba? Parang love life. When you get hurt in one relationship, the next time it happens, you already have an idea how to either get better or how to avoid it, or how not to spot, ay, etong lalaki na to, babaero talaga to, parang ganun. You already will have ideas, it won't happen to you again. So, sometimes you need 9 failures to get that 10th one, pero that 10th one can make you multi-millions also eh. So, please, all people always think about that, I need to play a perfect game. You don't need to play a perfect game. You just have to be profitable. And sometimes being profitable also means that you lose more than what you win. But when you win, that win will be bigger to compensate all of those losses.
All right. So thank you. No, patience really wins. No, and failing doesn't mean it's the end. Tama talaga yon. No, and we have another question here. Siguro I'll just connect them. No, no. How much, no, sir, is your ideal amount ng savings for before you go investing? All right. And what do you think is the best opportunity to invest in right now na pandemic tayo?
Okay. Before I answer that, I wanted to add something also. Kausapin nyo lahat na naging sobrang galing dito sa business niyo in what you're doing. You will notice this. A lot of them have been doing it for quite some time. Because it also took them years to be able to build what they're doing eh. And that also goes back to being patient at it. Hindi naman sila naging sobrang galing kasi nagawa nila kagad yun. Yun lang. Anyways, how much should be your savings? That's relative. Kasi for example, si Nina kausap ko. So, kunyari, pareho kami ni Nina, we're earning the same. Mag-invento na lang ako ng amount. Sabihin natin, me and Nina are earning 100,000 each. Pareho. Mag-iba pa rin yun eh. Bakit? For example, si Nina, 2 anak, ako, 1 anak ko. Example. Or, pareho kaming 2 anak pero ako sinusuportahan ko parents ko, siya hindi. So, it will be totally relative on what your personal finances are. That's why personal finance is more personal than finance, because iba-iba tayo eh. You have to know principles. You have to know ano pumapasok, you have to know ano yung lumalabas. And in between that, you will be able to figure out, okay, ginagastos ko pala 70,000, 100,000 yung pumapasok sa akin. Okay, may ipon ako na 30,000. Pero teka, mas gusto ko mag-save ng 40,000, ano pwede kong gawin? Sige, I'll try to earn 10,000 more. Or, teka, I'll try to, bawasan ko muna 10,000 yung budget, yung iba kong expenses. So, there's so many ways in order for you to tweak it. But in order for you to tweak it, you have to look at anong pumapasok, ano yung lumalabas, ano yung pwede kong gawin para i-adjust yun. Second answer to the question is, saan maganda mag-invest? Lahat ng mga legal na investments, lahat na legal na business are all good. The ROI is not in where you put the money. The ROI is in whose hand is it on. Meaning, if I was doing what you were doing, malulugi ako kasi I'm not so good at that. It's not something I built skills on eh. So, to answer your question, where you are the most comfortable on, ano yung pinakaalam mo. It could be even putting in more money in your current business right now. That could be one already. I'll say this. Bakit? Kasi yun na yung alam nyo. Yun na may track record kayo. Yun na you've seen something that has already worked for you. That's for me the easiest way for you to be able to do it kasi nakita nyo na nag-work. Then, second is, try everything. Kasi even when you go bonds, minimum sa bonds, premium bonds, 500 500 pesos. Pag-ibig MP2, minimum 500 pesos. Mutual funds, G-Invest, 50 pesos. US stocks, $1 minimum, 50 pesos din. Cryptocurrencies, minimum $10, 500 pesos. It does not require a lot of money to be able to start investments right now, with the exception maybe when you franchise a large restaurant or you maybe buy real estate. But majority of the investments does not require a large amount of money. So my suggestion is this. When you've already exhausted everything that you can do here, and then may sobra pa rin kayong pera, that's when you diversify. You diversify into something that will protect you also kasi totally different siya dun sa business na ginagawa nyo. So, pwedeng ganun. When may sobra na kayo na above and beyond yung ginagastos nyo dito, that's what you invest. But you invest it in what you're more comfortable on, what you know, and what you understand. Kasi it's so easy to be lured into something na, kasi lahat ginagawa yun. Lahat nagbe-Bitcoin ngayon, magbe-Bitcoin na rin ako. Pero kung di nyo naintindihan yun, malulugi kayo. I'll say this again. The ROI is in whose hand is it on. The ROI of a basketball for LeBron James is $1 billion. If ako yung may hawak ng basketball na yun, it's zero. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So thank you for that. No, we have another question here, Sir Marvin, if it's okay. No, siguro I'll just. All right. So how do you improve, sir? No, how do you improve your influence to towards others? How do you influence others, or how did you get to that level na na-influence mo na yung mga ibang tao with your advice, no, and so that they will listen more to you, no, as a leader?
Good question. This is what I've realized. People who influence people don't really think about that they need to influence people. Meaning, hindi ako gumigising araw-araw na, kailangan ko mag-influence ng mga tao. Ito yung kailangan sabihin para maka-influence ako ng ibang mga tao. It doesn't go that way. But what I can share from my experience is this. When I was still an employee, sige, ito na lang kwento. Ano maganda? Okay, ito. I was an entry-level employee at a particular point in time, but I was teaching all of my bosses supervisors paano mag-save, paano mag-invest. As in, kinikwento nila yung sweldo nila sa akin. Kasi pag office mates ka, hindi kayo nagkikwento ng sweldo, di ba? Lalo na kung mas mababang posisyon sa'yo eh. That doesn't happen. That's uncalled for. Pero this is what happened. 2005, 2006, nauso yung, naalala niyo yung piece of fare? Wala nang piece of fare yun eh. Meron mga seat sale na mura yung tickets, pero dati piece of fare talaga, Cebu Pacific. Remember that? So may piece of fare, Cebu Pacific, lahat sila, they would go into the strips and take those piece of fares. Ako, I wouldn't go. Tuwa-tuwa pa sila sa akin kasi I would take their either weekend work or whatever work that they would have. Kasi para sa akin, gastos yun eh. I realized that I wasn't in the season of my life of spending and doing all of these things. It wasn't part. So tuwa-tuwa sila kasi I was taking the work. Pero a few months after, eto nangyari. Sabi nila, Marvin, ba't ganun? 5 years na kami nag-work dito. Ikaw, 6 months pa lang, mas malaki ipon mo sa akin. How did you do that? Baka pwede mo ako turuan. How were you able to save more even if you're earning less than me? Even if you're mas mabagal ka pa nagtatrabaho sa akin. I mean, mas lesser yung panahon mo nagtatrabaho pero mas madami ka ng ipon. Paano mo nagawa yun? My point being is this. Influence does not happen overnight. You don't have to rush it. And that's what I said earlier, that people will listen to how you live more than how you talk. And so sample, it's hard for me, for example, na to tell people mag-invest kayo dito pero lubog ako sa utang. It would be hard eh. It would be hard to teach people to go into this business if alam ko yung kausap ko, may utang ako sa kanya na 5 years na hindi ko siya binabayaran. How do you gain influence? You walk what you talk what you walk, and do it over a stretch period of time. There will be a lot of people that will see weight in how you live your life, that when they see weight in how you live your life, what you say they will listen to. And it's not something that you rush. it's something that it takes time, and it's something that, as what I said earlier, patience is so important. And please remember that they may not listen to you right now, but it doesn't mean that they won't listen to you eh. Kasi I mentioned earlier na may mga office mates na naghumingi ng advice sa akin, pero may mga office mates din na hindi naniniwala sa akin. But when they saw me na I quit my job 5 years after, suddenly, I would be getting messages. Baka naman pwede tayong mag-lunch. How did you actually do it? So you have to realize also that there will be people that it may take longer for them to, that you can gain influence on them. There will be some people that it will also be faster for them. But yun, that's what I've realized, that you don't have to think about how do I influence people. You just live your life. Because if you live your life upright, you live your life properly, there will be people that will follow what you do. Yun.
All right. So with that, no, sir, I know yung journey mo to being such an influential person or gaining the influence that you have right now, of course, no, you also developed yourself and your habits, no, as a professional, as a person. No? So what, sir, is your, can you share with us your daily method of operation in your business, like your routine, no? Can you share with us a little about how your day goes?
Uh, I'm just actually at home the past 18 months. I'm literally one of part of the people na takot ako lumabas. I would go out maybe jogging, walking kasi to stretch also, and for groceries. Pero my day has been normally, my wife would wake me up, dadala niya ako, may kape ako lagi pag gising ko, my wife would bring me coffee, then we would eat breakfast. And then since I'm heavily into crypto right now, when I wake up, I look at crypto, then right after that I look at Philippine stocks kasi 9 plus 10, I look at it mga 10:30. Then in the evening, I look at US stocks, but right in between it's mostly crypto. So a lot of the things that are taking my attention right now are the cryptocurrency space, NFTs. So a lot of them also, it's not just about investing in them, but I've been spending a lot of time to study. If there's one thing that this pandemic has, or this lockdown has helped me with, is that prior to this, I would travel a lot eh. Wala akong time para, I would not have realized investing in cryptos more now compared to that. Kung sobrang busy ko, hindi ko magagawa siguro yung ginagawa ko ngayon. So my day is combined with spending a lot of time studying. There are times that I would play, dahil pandemic to, I don't know how it will be after. There are times that I play video games now. Dati hindi ako nag video games, but since wala talagang magawa eh, I'm doing that. And then yun, pretty much it's not structured primarily kasi nasa bahay lang. So whatever I feel like doing or whatever I can do at home, yun lang halos yung ginagawa ko. But if there yung regular lang, gising, breakfast, check ng investments, and then pretty much ad hoc studying within the day. So that's it. Then a lot of siguro I've been more productive now in getting more meetings, because dati when you meet someone, you have to travel to a certain place, and then meeting lang kayo sandali, and then babalik ka pa. It was so inefficient. Now I get to do more with a shorter amount of time as well. So there. If there's one thing about me, just to finalize, to give another answer, is I'm not a very structured person. I value time, pero I'm very bad at managing it, meaning may mga nababaliwala ako minsan sa araw na nakakalimutan kong gawin. So, yun.
Ayun. So thank you, Sir Marvin, no. And also siguro related to that question, no. For us na in a business like we are in right now, no, how or what is your advice to overcome yung procrastination in the business? Like kasi some people, we have a question here, no, some people are feeling like paano yung transition nila from being like in the corporate world na may boss to a place na or to a business na parang sila na yung mismong no boss, di ba? So parang self-employed or it's their own business. So how do you handle yung procrastination first and yung transition from being a person with a boss to being your own boss?
Okay, I get that question, and how do I answer this? I've been to different phases and seasons also in my life. So I'll share this. When I was starting out, dun babalik at babalik siya dun sa ano eh. Gaano kalaki yung pangarap nyo in turn sa kung nasan kayo ngayon. Kasi it's I we all have different dreams eh. Meaning iba yung work ethic ng taong may pangarap na 1 million versus yung work ethic ng taong may pangarap na 100 million. So you go with the pace that you want and you assess it. Meaning if I take this 2 days off na wala akong ginagawa, malapit na ba ako sa 100 million ko na target or 10 million ko na target or 500,000 ko na target? If you can say deeply that I'm still on track even if I do this, okay lang also. Pero if you say also that pag ginawa ko to, nagpetex ako ng 2 days na wala akong ginagawa and it will take me further from my goals, then there has to be something also that should change and should shift. One thing that could work no is you find a particular time within the day na dapat productive kayo doon, that you force yourself to do things. Sa akin, I haven't been working for 11 years for an employee as an employee, but what I've realized is mas productive ako sa gabi. So I'll give an example. I've written 5 books. They've been in national bookstores since 2013, and the best writings that I've ever done for those books were sinusulat ko siya ng 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because that's the time where I get to think more. And I guess it comes to a point also where you're not anymore, you have to think about this, that you're not anymore paid by the amount of time that you put in, but you're paid by the amount of output that you have. So if you could do that amount of output at 2 a.m. for 2 hours versus doing it na 2 araw na tigi 8 hours, pero nagawa mo siya in 2 hours, okay lang. Magpetex ka na 2 days after, okay lang naman din yun. As long as your output is commensurate to the goals that you want, that's totally fine. So what worked for me was to find the time where I was the most productive and I would work a lot during that particular time. So yun.
Alright. So, tama, no? Just find the right time kung kailan ka pinaka-productive, tama. So we agree with that, Sir Marvin. And we have another question with something that relates to what you're doing now, no? Kasi in our business, no, we have numerous meetings with prospects who are so focused on what's in right now. Like, for example, young stocks like Forex, trading, NFT, diba? But with very minimal lang yung investment nila, like 10,000 to 50,000. And they decide to focus on that. Do you advise, what is your advice, no? Is it a good idea to just, for example, your part-time, no, is it a good idea to focus all your funds there or your investment there and just not add another source of income right now? Or how do you balance this out?
So is the question, sorry, I didn't get the question as much.
Yeah.
Is the question is to parang the choices between doing a business or investing, parang ganon?
Siguro the question is, how do you balance siguro yung stocks and building another source of residual income?
The answer to that is this eh. Sa stock market naman, it doesn't take a lot of time. That's why it's so, you can do business well. So there's to competing, and yung like what you said earlier, kunyari you put 10,000 pesos, the stock market is a multiplier, it's not an adder. Meaning if you want your money to get bigger, you go into business. And then as the business starts to earn, yun yung pang-invest nyo. So that mas malaki na yung base niyo sa pag-invest. I think the biggest mistake of a lot of people is when they, for example, they go into the stock market, they think that when they put 10,000 pesos, magiging 1 million yun in the next few months or the next few years. But when you realize it, teka, paano mangyayari yun? Para maging 1 million siya, 10,000 pesos ko, it has to go up not 100%, it has to go up 10,000% just for it to hit 1 million pesos. So what I'm saying is this, if you're at a point in your life where you want to add more revenue streams to businesses, if you are in a point in your life that meron ka ng mga revenue streams na madami, use those revenue streams and you put that into investments, because the investments will also help multiply what you've earned in the business. But this is my personal answer. The name of the game is multiple streams of income. The more you have, the better. So they're not actually competing with each other, because when you have more of it, yun yung lalaban sa'yo eh. So the more businesses that you put up, the more streams of income that you have, it's even better. And I'll tell you this, yung kalaban ng stocks, hindi yung forex. Yung kalaban ng crypto, hindi mutual funds. Yung kalaban ng real estate, hindi yung insurance. Yung kalaban nila, yung milk tea na araw-araw doon pumupunta yung pera, kasi mas madaming taong ginagastos yung pera nila sa mga bagay na hindi nila kailangan. If there was a segment of Filipinos that would save and invest a larger portion of their income instead of buying things that they don't need, their finances would be better. So my opinion with this is stop. It's not about comparing, it's about getting as much of that as you can also, kasi sa totoo lang, all of us here, we're the minority eh. Majority of the people na kausap nyo, mas malaking investment nila sa iPhone, mas malaking investment nila sa Samsung, mas malaking investment nila sa milk tea, more than the business that they've started, more than the investments that they've started. So it's more of, because we're the minority, not a lot of people think the same way as we do. That's why they're trying to think about, meron ako 10,000, ano yung pwede kong paglagyan na makaka-jackpot ako? And people need to realize that it's not about getting a jackpot eh. Because if your goal is getting a jackpot, then that's what you'll get, a jackpot. And a jackpot only happens once eh. What people need to realize is, how do you make something that will last longer than you, that you can earn over and over and over and over again. Pero hindi yun nangyayari na jackpot. It's something that's built over time.
All right. So tama, no? We don't have to really parang see them as competition, no? Kasi lahat sila, no? Multiple streams of income naman talaga. All right? And we have the last 2 questions na lang po, Sir Marvin, if it's okay, no? Last 2 questions
no problem.
na lang. Ayan. Okay, so we have a question from Facebook, no? What if my biggest problem is my family, my partner, and myself? How to be positive when everybody is negative? How can I sell myself or market my market value and the business, no, if I can't influence the people close to me?
Okay. Wow, that's a tough question. How do you stay positive for yourself also? Go back to the portion of the talk that if it's not working with people around you, your first circle of people, build yourself up by spending time with other people that think alike as you. That's the first thing. And we also have to realize this, that sometimes yung kamag-anak nyo, yung kaibigan nyo, hindi yun yung susuporta sa negosyo nyo eh. I've seen that so many times, over and over and over again. Normally pa nga pag may negosyo, kayong common mentality ng Pilipino, o yung kaibigan ko may siomay yan, pagpunta tayo doon dapat libre nila tayo, yun yung kagad mentality nila eh. Or ano, for example, yung mga books ko sa National, people were expecting that bibigyan ko sila ng books. Bibigyan ko sila lahat ng books. Kung ganun nangyari, di nalugi yun. You have to realize this, that people who are closest to you, there will be people who will support you. Kaya nga, I cherish the people that, cherish people na who would support your business by paying. You cherish people that like that because they're one of a kind. But you have to realize that your friends and your family at the start won't be your biggest fans. They won't be the ones who will spend for your business. That's that's the reality of it. That's why second answer is kung hindi niyo siya makukuha sa una niyong connection, saan siya babalik? Hard work. Meaning, wala kang connection, wala kang network, work harder than everyone else. If other people get it by meeting 50 people, do it by 200 people. You always there will always be a solution off of it if you just work extra harder. So I'm trying to put myself in your position. Ano gagawin ko kung ganun? That's what I do. And I leverage the internet right now that I don't even need to sell to my friends and to my family because I have this entire plethora of tools that I could use in order for me to be able to leverage the internet, either social media, either SEO, search, or other means ngayon. Please remember this, that when I started out 2005, all of this did not exist. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, there's so many ways for you to reach tons of people na dati it required millions of pesos for you to be able to do it. So if your family and friends are not getting, okay lang yun. There's 100 million Filipinos. And even if you just get 0.001% of the 100 million Filipinos, okay ka na eh. And because internet yung usapan, your market is 8 billion people around the world eh. And that's what makes it interesting. And that's what makes it limitless. So this is, I'll share this. Dapat meron kayong practice. So kung alam nyo na yung kamag-anak nyo, tsaka yung mga kaibigan nyo, will be negative, will be no, spend a lot of time selling to them. Because that will make you better eh. By the time you are meeting your 50th person, iba na eh. And the reason why I say that is because I tell people to get better in investing, it requires practice. It requires it that you've done it over and over, that para na lang siyang transaction para sa'yo. What do I mean by that? Si Jojo Abella, pag nag-toothbrush ka ba, do you get emotional? Hindi, why? Because you do it every day eh. Di ba? Hindi ka naman nag-toothbrush na parang masaya ka kasi nag-toothbrush ka or malungkot ka kasi nag-toothbrush ka. Hindi eh. Because it's something that you do every day. You have to treat your business like that also. That because you've done it over and over and over and over, hindi kayo nalulungkot, hindi kayo malulungkot if you get a no. Hindi rin kayo nagiging oversaya when you get a yes. Because when you get a no, you move on. When you get a yes, you move on also. So there, that's my answer.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Sir Marvin. And for our last question naman, what would be your advice to be successful in this kind of business that we are in right now? So what would be your advice to us?
Wow. Babalik yun sa lahat ng sinabi ko earlier. Because if you love this, if you truly deep inside love this, you will excel. Because if you find what you do is something that's not just a means to an end, but you're making a difference in the lives of other people, you will excel in this. And you may not have the skills right now for it, pero yung skills natututunan yan eh. I guess part of it also is, I said this earlier, that when you get no's, it doesn't mean that you stop it or you quit. Because you have to realize that it happens to everyone. You will get more no's than yeses. So every time you get a no, don't let that discourage you. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that make you quit. But you make that a motivation to make you better. You make that a motivation so that ano yung mali kong sinabi doon? Nagmukha ba akong pera kaya niya ako tinanggihan? Parang ganun. Or ano ba, nagmukha ba akong masyado ba akong salesperson kaya hindi nag-work? There are certain ways on how you can develop your craft in order for you to be able to do it eh. But siguro be genuine, be authentic, love what you do. work harder than everyone else, then every time you earn more, babalik to sa point number 2, every time you earn more, keep on saving it, keep on saving it. Ibalik nyo lahat sa business, lahat. Ibalik nyo lahat. Huwag nyo munang enjoyin yung pera nyo. I'm not saying I'm not saying maglakad na lang kayo araw-araw, wag na kayo magkotse para makatipid kayo, but you keep saving it, because when you have that cash, you have the opportunity to be able to spend more sa business, to be able to leverage yourself. I don't know what it will be, what you could actually spend on, so that you can leverage the business that you have more. But having the cash gives you the flexibility to be able to expand it in ways where kung sinayang mo siya sa isang bagay na hindi mo kailangan, nawala na yung potential doon. So if you believe that you will be in this business for a very, very long time, every time you earn, a portion of it to put it back in a business. Tapos, bigyan niyo sarili niyo ng salary. Yun yung gawin niyo. Treat, for example, Nina Angela Fianza Corporation. Whatever revenue you get goes to the business. Yung gagastusin niyo sa personal niyo, salary niyo yun. Yun yung pambili nyo ng luho nyo. And yung maganda doon, kung malaki yung luho nyo, what does that mean? It will force you to earn more. Kasi kung malaki luho nyo, di kailangan nyo magtrabaho na mas mabuti, kasi priority nyo muna, lahat ng pumapasok, pupunta sa negosyo. So pag mas madami kayong gusto bilhin para sa personal, the business should actually earn more also. Pwedeng ganun. So I hope you got this. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sir Marvin. All right, guys. So I guess that wraps up our Q&A. Thank you, Sir Marvin. We'd like to turn the floor back to you for some final words, if you may, no, before we end this training.
Thank you. Andiyan pala si John Panaw. John Panaw was part of my wife's group sa church namin. So, yun. Alam ko si John, sobrang yaman yan. Pero wag niyo siya utangan. Pero, yun. Anyways, final words. What do I want to say? Siguro I'll say this. Don't ever lose hope. In the midst of this crisis, there's a lot of opportunity, and I've seen it firsthand that there's a lot of people that they were hit financially, but they didn't use this time to get bitter, but instead they got better. So I guess I'll end it with that. Instead of focusing on, kasi I can't control the economy. I can't control inflation. I can't control yung vaccine. I can't control kung kailan matatapos yung lockdown. Pero I can't control my attitude. I can't control how I budget my money. I can't control how I manage my risk. So stop focusing on things that you can't control. Start focusing on things that you can control, because it's that portion that you can control that will make you rich. So yun. Thank you so much and have a great night ahead.
All right. So, wow, thank you so much. Thank you again, Sir Marvin. Next, Jen, let's flood our chat box and comment section with words of thanks. And let's give another round of virtual applause for Sir Marvin Germo. All right. So thank you so much, Sir Marvin, for the valuable learnings and powerful insight you have shared with us tonight. We have truly been inspired, no? Grabe, guys, with all our learnings tonight, we now have a solid grasp and understanding of what it really means to have a formula for success, and that is passion, profit, and purpose. Let's take this into heart so that we can work this into how we do our business. All right. So we'd like to thank